Should we just reflect on how you've changed, Amanda? Let's just have a quick look here now.
No, Rowan.
You do not hit Mummy. If you hit Mummy one more time, I'm going to take you out and you're going to have time out, okay? You're going to sit on the chair because you're not hitting me over and over. I've offered you to sit on my knee and you don't want to. If you keep moving, Rowan, we will go down to your room to do time out.
Rowan, go and sit yourself in the chair.
What characterised the way you managed him, and I think we've spoken a lot about, is that you keep talking to them, keep talking. You talk to him really in a good way because you're very, very calm. And we've talked about how you're really good at that. But actually, you're both so calm that he can never see what you're feeling. And I said to you, please, can you be more cross? And that absolutely broke your heart, didn't it?
It's just the whole, like they say, the confrontation thing, which I know is stupid, but it's like, it just feels like fighting all the time, and that's the real thing I hate. You know? So basically, I thought if I was the calm one and the cool one, that would sort of, you know, they would be calm and everything, which I know wasn't working because you know, they didn't know when I was cross, maybe.
What has anger been for you both up until we've talked about it this week?
It's always been, I think, sort of losing control and aggression and violence, and that's sort of what it has meant. But I suppose over the last week we've learned that it doesn't actually mean that.
Why do you think for you that's been a huge revelation?
I suppose from my point of view it's always been something that I've kept built up inside. It's, say, like a year down the line you end up just really blowing, so the anger and the aggression that you have then ends up being twice as bad as it would have been. Like venting it, if not 100 times worse than what it would have been if you were venting it when it was needed to be vented. So.
But it was a big scary thing for you. We spoke about it together, and I know then you spoke afterwards together.
I think with me and Amanda, it's like I said, it's one thing we never talked about, so it's, I suppose in a way, let Amanda sort of know how I felt and what was going through my head.
I've always been the one who would try to talk about something, and Morton's always been very closed and won't talk about things, which I've always found hard because then I would end up with all this stuff inside that I couldn't release, you know. So it was always kind of feeling that I had to be the happy one and the calm one and the, you know, trying to sort of balance everything out basically, and you know, it was becoming a huge weight on my shoulders really, you know, because he's the man I love and I've never ever hurt him.
So what are you saying to him? You're saying, trust me.
Yeah.
I will not hurt you.
No.
What are you really saying from your heart?
That I would absolutely love him to be my husband and my life partner.
So you want to marry Morton?
Oh, desperately. Yeah. I think we've been engaged for about 5.5 years. So before, when I was actually found out I was pregnant with Dylan, we'd booked a honeymoon, hadn't we? And we were starting to look into everything then, and then that all sort of fell apart, and then, you know, we did sort of start looking again last year, but it's just, when you've got 3 young boys, it's just, the money's obviously tight, so it just won't.
Would it not be possible to just very simply and quietly do it together anyway?
We'd even talked about that, hadn't we, and sort of doing it and then trying to get a blessing later, but I think Morton's always had this sort of thing in his head of he'll only ever get married once and he wants to get married right.
Do you want to say anything to her?
I do love you, and I suppose my thing is just always want it done if you want, like, properly, and once it's done it'll be it. There'll be no divorce, no nothing.
I don't think you're talking about marriage in the way that you're hearing it. Tell him what you really want.
Marry me. Be my husband as soon as possible.
Okay.